So the city of EThekwini unveiled two statues, one of Nelson Mandela and one of Oliver Tambo in Durban. And it's really heartbreaking when you look at this kind of situation where 22 million rand was spent on two statues. And then you ask yourself a question: with all the problems that we have in South Africa, the poverty levels we have in South Africa, the unemployment rate that we have in the country, the service delivery problems that we experience on a daily basis. And EThekwini, Durban especially, they're dealing with sewage spilling all over the streets. They're dealing with the issues of water supply. They're dealing with issues of potholes, just like the city of Joburg. But they managed to find 22 million rand for two statues, which means that one statue cost 11 million rand. Do you know what you can do with 11 million rand? You can build a school with 22 million rand. You can create employment with 22 million rand. You can solve so many issues at a service delivery level for the city of EThekwini with 22 million rand. But let me just ask you a question. Does this 22 million rand sound familiar to you? Do you remember the former Minister of Police? And I think at the time he was the Minister of Sports and Arts and Culture. And he proposed a flag, a South African flag, that he was going to build somewhere in Pretoria for 22 million rand. So the same amount is being spent on two statues in Durban. So now let me break it down for you. Let me just explain to you exactly how a project like this actually comes about. So people are sitting in the mayor's office and they're discussing one thing and one thing only. Guys, how can we pocket 10 million rand for ourselves? How can we put 5 million rand in each of us' pockets? Oh, I've got an idea. Let's come up with a way to build two statues with two of our most celebrated politicians of the ANC, Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo. And then once we do that, we can spend 5 million rand, 7 million rand doing this project, and then nobody will ask questions because I don't believe that statues have a bill of quantities like a bridge or a road or a school. Too much work for ANC cadres. If you're trying to extract 10 million rand out of a 22 million rand school, there's just too many numbers and it takes too long to get the money out. Listen, I've built more than 1,000 houses in my life, and I can tell you now, a house worth 22 million rand is a huge house. The concrete, the slabs, the foundation, the roof, the finishes of that house, a 22 million rand house, when you look at it, just Google it, you will see. And you tell me if you think a statue is worth 11 million rand. There's no way that you can spend 22 million rand on two statues. It's not possible. So this is one of those methods that the ANC cadres use to extract money out of a department or a municipality. The idea is just time to get 10 million rand or 50 million rand into somebody's pocket, come up with some nonsense project and then put it out there as if people are going to celebrate. How do you celebrate a statue when you got no water in your taps? How do you celebrate a statue when you got potholes right in front of your house? How do you celebrate two statues of two wonderful people when there's sewage running down the street? So the question I really want to ask myself is, at what point do we realize that this group of people have given up on giving us services? They've given up on governing this country because they've resorted to doing things that make no sense whatsoever, things that actually make no material difference in our day-to-day lives. For example, renaming of cities, renaming of streets is the same thing. Statues, new city names, new town names, new street names. Instead of providing the actual services for residents of that town, they'll rename the town. Instead of providing services and proper road services and water and electricity for that road, they will rename the road. I don't understand where this comes from, but I can only come to one conclusion. When a party like the ANC is done with the population, when a party like the ANC is so detached from reality, they do vanity projects like statues. If you want to honor Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo, I'll tell you how you do it. You must just resign, because I cannot ask you to honor Nelson Mandela by providing good services, good roads, good electricity, good water, because you're not capable of doing that. I cannot ask you to honor Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo by providing jobs and a good economy and providing services to the people, because you have demonstrated that you cannot do it. So the only thing you can do to honor Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo is to resign and just step down. and let somebody come in and do the job that they're supposed to be doing. Have you seen how many hijacked buildings are in Durban? Have you seen what's happening in this Durban CBD? Have you seen what happens at the Durban beaches? I mean, my very first time I went to Durban could have been 1997, 1998. It was a beautiful place for tourism. But what the ANC government has done to the Durban CBD, it's exactly what has happened to the Joburg CBD. They've ruined it. But instead of fixing the problems that are there, they rather do statues. I can guarantee you right now, Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo will not be happy with those statues because that is not their character. Their character is in providing services for poor people, making sure that you've got healthcare facilities that work. You've got an education system that works. You've got an economy that works. You've got people that are getting jobs and not unemployed. You've got Durban is being trashed by the people that are in charge of it. Durban is no longer the Durban that we know from 20 years ago. They've ruined it. But instead of fixing the problems, they will unveil two statues at the same time. But I guarantee you right now, that whole statue unveiling ceremony thing, it's all about putting millions in somebody's pocket. And it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting when you think about the problems that we have in this country. We have so many issues to deal with. And then what you want to focus on is unveiling statues that are not even worth 22 million rand. They're barely worth 5 million, those statues. Instead of fixing service delivery issues and sewage running down the streets, you're going to rename the street. Instead of making sure that the city can come back and create tourism revenue, be functional, get rid of the drug dealers, get rid of the brothels, get rid of the hijacked buildings. Instead of doing that, you're going to just rename the city and hope that everything works out. Are you a mayor or what are you? So if you want to honor those two heroes of South Africa, Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo, just step down, resign, because you are not capable of improving services and lives of people who live under you in the city of EThekwini. Anyway, that's all I've got to say today. Please subscribe to the channel. And until then, stay safe.